find a train. You spot one. Kick her over. Give it a few squirts. Bust the locomotive first. Train can't move now. Let's see what's in those boxcars. 12 of you. You'll all crisscross in. Everybody takes a few passes. Try the cars one at a time. Might be something interesting in them. Usually is. Got it burning nicely now. Take another pass. For luck.
Fitz, will you please carry these orders into effect?
Yes, sir. This is Colonel Fitz, Army Ground Forces. The commanding general has decided to move the 201st Armored Division by rail. Alert traffic control and everyone concerned.
May I have your attention, men? There's going to be 3 men in each section. They're sleeping tonight. 2 in the lower berth and 1 in the upper berth.
What's an upper?
You'll find out tonight, boys. We're pulling out now, men, so at ease.
Attention, men. We're stopping at the next station. Be ready to get off. Attention, men. Anyone I catch smoking in the berths will get KP for the whole trip. Is that clear?
Porter, can you tell me where this train is going?
No, sir, soldier. That's one thing I'm not allowed to tell.
I think we're headed to San Francisco because now we are in Tennessee. No, Tennessee's not there, it's down here.
Railway bridges and the traffic which passes over them tell another story of equal importance. Railroad trains are easy to spot and to identify as passenger or freight. By coordinating these reports with others on activity in train yards, the intelligence officer has priceless information.
Marienburg, an hour later, the second task force comes over the target. Task force comes over its target at Danzig. 5th Task Forces arrive over the harbor area of Gdynia.
Arms away!
Bomb the aerodrome at Woensdrecht, one of the most important of the enemy's fighter bases. This blow by the medium bombers is timed so as to provide the maximum interference with the enemy's capacity to intercept our withdrawing heavy bombers.
Fighters blast every target that moves on enemy.
I can tell you part of that story. Before I wound up here in Korea, I was stationed at Fort Eustis, Virginia, the home of the Transportation Corps. It's a good post. Lots of facilities for tough, realistic training. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Transportation was important long before there was a Transportation Corps in the Army or a Fort Eustis. Who was it? General Forrest, I think, back in the Civil War days, whose formula for winning battles was get there fastest with the mostest. It was a good rule then, and it works just as well today. Here at Fort Eustis, men are trained to take those words to heart. A part of this big job of getting stuff from where it is to where it's needed is the handling of cargo for shipment overseas. The Transportation Corps must ensure that American troops around the world will have enough and on time, for that is the motto of the Transportation Corps. Here at the 3rd Port Training Area at Fort Eustis, men learn how to handle cargo, how to stow all the thousands of different sizes and shapes that make up the equipment necessary for a modern army. Everything must be handled with care, because some guy on the other end may be betting his life on that radio or that crate of spare machine gun parts that's being loaded now. But stevedoring heavy cargo, important though it is only part of the story. If guys around the world are going to get it, the stuff has got to move, and people have got to get it going. Out of the sack, boy, up and at 'em. Fall out on the double. I can hear that, Sergeant, still. I took this course myself. It was one of the best pieces of instruction I've ever received. After morning formation, these guys will be on their way to the B&O Railroad Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Here, after preliminary training on the Transportation Corps' own railroad at Fort Eustis, they're going to learn practical railroading on one of the country's biggest lines. It's important because both here and abroad, railroads handle a huge amount of military supplies, and it'll be the job of these men to see that it is handled efficiently. Every soldier is assigned to a specific railroad employee for a 90-day period. At first, it's kind of tough. The old-timer's got his regular job to do, and you feel sort of like a third thumb. But you watch, and there's plenty to see. Then he gives you a little job to do, and you do it. Slowly, the ice begins to break, and after a while, you begin to know a little bit about each other. All the time, you're learning, and pretty soon, you're working as a team. Work at everything. The old-timers letting you do a lot of it by now. Then just when you think you know everything about this railroad business, something new comes up and you start all over again. They're a great crew, these railroaders, and a lot of fast friendships grew up during our period of training here. Talk about cooperation, I've never seen a better example. The B&O is doing all this for just $1 a year. The C&O is doing it too. The railroad brotherhoods are supporting the program. As for us, I can tell you we learned a lot. We learned by actually doing the job with equipment and facilities the Army could never hope to provide.
Fort Eustis trains men to move material. One of the biggest jobs of moving material takes place at the various ports of embarkation around the zone of interior. New York, Hampton Roads, New Orleans, San Francisco, and Seattle all are ports of embarkation operated by the Transportation Corps.
I'm a sergeant here at New York POE, Port of Embarkation. It is the largest of them all and handles most of the supplies going to the European Command, the Mediterranean, and North Atlantic bases. Right now, we are outloading diesel locomotives for shipment to help speed up transportation in Korea. From what I hear, the railway service is doing a big job over there, and they really need this equipment. You've got to be careful. Everything must be secure because a locomotive lost at sea is just as useless as one that's never loaded. And when a ship starts tossing, it's easy to have cargo shift if it isn't tied down nice and tight. Here at New York, civilian contractors do most of the work. But overseas, the Transportation Corps' own people will do the job. Everything's secure and on its way.
From Fort Eustis and the zone of the interior, men of the Transportation Corps move out to operations all around the world. Overseas, the Transportation Corps is responsible for all military rail and highway transportation. This includes operation of ports, railroads, trucks, barges, and other small freight ships. Actual ocean shipping is handled by the Military Sea Transportation Service of the Navy. Along with the primary mission of supply goes the secondary mission of training for possible future operations. If war should come to Europe, ports now being utilized might well be bombed and damaged beyond use. To prepare for such an emergency, the Transportation Corps practices supply over-the-beach operations.
Since dawn yesterday, 13 ducks and 10 LCMs have been plowing back and forth through choppy waters between the old Oshkosh Victory, standing offshore, and the beach. Darn if it doesn't look like Normandy back in '44. This is a training operation, though, and it's been going on once a month, regular as clockwork for some time now. I'm a cargo checker here, and I can tell you they really push the stuff to us. Down the shore a little, they've got a dozer working, enlarging the area. This is the first thing you do. You've got to prepare the beach. And believe me, a bulldozer does a beautiful job of carving a traffic pattern out of these dunes. Vehicles can bog down pretty easily in soft sand, so the boys lay down a platform of interlocking steel mesh. Over a road like this, we can move the heaviest equipment without much trouble, about as easy as on a highway back home. While this is going on, the freighters drop anchor offshore. Gangs of soldier stevedores shuttle cargo into position down in the hold. Others sling steel lashes around the crates, while one man stands ready to signal the winch operator. You know, you get kind of a kick when that first load swings up free and clear and over the side. Here it's dropped into either a duck, the Transportation Corps' amphibious truck, or into an LCM for the trip to shore. Ducks can carry a load right up the beach to discharge points, where it's sorted into various categories.
You know, it's pretty much the same story over here. The #1 port is Pusan. It's jammed to the hilt all the time, so a lot of stuff has to be offloaded from ships in the stream. Here's where the ducks come in. For this sort of an operation, they're a natural. They can tote as much as 5 tons across open water, right up on the beach and further. Once here in Korea, a duck company carried supplies more than 50 miles inland to where they were needed, because they were needed in a hurry, and there wasn't either the time or the trucks to transship the stuff. Believe me, that unit was happy to see those ducks waddling down the road. They've been used in river crossings, too. The duck is a rugged little vehicle, but over here you're lucky to find a road, and when you do, it's either ice or dust or mud, depending on the season. It's the railroad that has taken over the big job of supply. 75% of the UN load in some areas. This isn't the B&O, but a lot of the guys keeping this line going got their training from railroaders back home, and that experience is paying off right now. Although the highway system here is back in the horse and buggy days, the railroad is, or was before the invasion, pretty up to date. Track is standard gauge, road beds are well graded and ballasted, cuts and tunnels are reinforced, shops and yards are well equipped. It's the kind of line a railroad man likes to see. Funny thing about it all is that we've got the Japanese to thank for this road. They built it to provide a connecting rail service to their troops in China. Now it's on our side, and plenty important. The stuff comes in, and you move it up. Sounds easy, but it takes a pile of planning and coordination and sweat. And there's a lot of highly trained people working out this operation. It's a big job, almost as big as the fighting itself, because without this stuff, our guys couldn't fight. I remember when we were holed up down in the Pusan perimeter, we picked up an entire division and moved it 100 miles in less than 24 hours to meet a communist spearhead. And there's been lots of other times when this road has spelled the difference between defeat or victory. Its head of track is never very far from the front lines. Of course, all this big operation is not as easy as highballing the main line from New York to Philly. Because it's so important to the UN battle effort, the Reds have given the old line a rough going over. Whenever the battle swept south, bridges got blown, yards, shops, and rolling stock got wrecked. And then guerrilla bands still raid sections of the track or ambush special trains. It's not so bad now. Most of the pulling job is done by U.S.-built diesel locomotives. Remember, we outloaded them at New York POE. They are Transportation Corps stock, run by TC men, sometimes with a Korean railroader along in the cab to act as pilot.